Now, there's one thing I didn't tell you, Jane. There's a bonus question. And every time, so as I said before, everyone's done these questions are going to be on the website. It's not a secret. I'm hoping people that come on this podcast have a think about it because they can be answered in many different ways, right? But there is a bonus question. I'm going to ask a bonus question, and it's going to be based around a bit of your skill set, right? So
bring it on.
And I thought about your question. I thought, well, you are the reno queen. You've done a lot of renovations. And I thought, why don't I ask her, what's the best amount of spend on a property to get the best return as a renovation? I thought, well, that's a silly question because what have you got? A $2 million property? You got a $200,000 property, right? That's you're not going to spend $1 million on a $200,000 property, even though I've seen some overcapitalisation in my life. But then I said, well, let's refine it. What ratio? If you buy a property for $500,000, what do you think the ratio of the purchase of the renovation should be relative to the purchase price to get the best return? I know it can be varied, but if there's an investor out there thinking they want to do a renovation, what would you say as a percentage? 101
masterclass on renovation, strategic renovation. There's a lot of properties that can be renovated, but there's very few that deserve it. Now, in that $500,000 price point, what you need to start with is an understanding of the comparable price points of what the properties are that you want to renovate up to. So, for instance, at $500,000, if I said to you, there's a refresh renovation, which is essentially, going in and cleaning things up a little bit, doing, maybe new bench tops on the kitchen. There's a repair, which is like elbow grease, just go in and like rub it down and make it clean and clean the laundries up. And that's like 1% of the value. The repair might be 5%. A cosmetic renovation is usually 10%. So on a $500,000 property, it'd be $50,000.
Yeah.
Now, I would never, and then there's the, restructure where you're spending a significant 30 to 40%, new, butler's pantry, the box on the back, all those kind of things that I taught for years. But when I look at, if I was going to say, the best way to look at it is like, I won't do a renovation if I can't make $2 for every $1 I spend. So for a $500,000 property, if I'm spending $50,000, I need it to go up to $600,000. So $2, my profit's $50,000, my cost is $50,000, $500,000 gets me to $600,000. If I can't find a $600,000 property in that suburb, in that area, that's, not a 4-bedroom when mine's a 3-bedroom, not on 600 square meters when I'm on 300 square meters. If I can't find a like for like at $600,000, then looks like it, and know that I can do the renovation for $50,000 to get to that level. So I'm not talking like there's a pool. I'm talking, cosmetic renovation. Then I walk. So, at $500,000, it's very difficult to actually, do those type of strategic renovations and find that gap. I think that it's really, these days it's closer to $800,000 to $1 million where you can actually find that price point where, you're at $1 million, you spend $100,000 and it gets to over 1.2 million. You need to be in that suburb, that much of a gap. And at those lower price points, it's hard. Now, that's why we talk about the Trident strategy. Buy below the market. If you can get that $500,000 property for $450,000 because you're good at negotiating or you found the opportunity, it looks too bad, you've got an out of area salesperson who doesn't understand it, everyone's in lockdown during COVID, whatever it is. If you're buying at that $450,000, you're making money then. So you really don't have to necessarily get up to the $600,000 with your renovation. So there's opportunities in those suburbs. I'm not saying if you can't afford a $500,000 property, never do a renovation. But what I am saying is it has to be strategic renovation and it has to be for the right property.
If you own an investment property, then Washington Brown can help you pay less tax with an ATO-compliant depreciation schedule. Visit washingtonbrown.com.au to pay less tax today.